when I'm in there with Shakur, you know, it's a chess match, you know, because Shakur is a thinking man as well. So it's definitely a chess match, and that's something that, you know, I love, he loves, because now we got to be creative. You got to go in that bag and be like, I can't do this with him because it's not going to work. Now I got to get more creative to get a little advantage over the big both competitive. Neither one of us want to let the other one get anything off.
You want to sign a contract to fight my little brother?
Most people watched Terence Crawford step into that press event, take control of the microphone, and openly warn Teofimo Lopez that Shakur Stevenson would systematically dismantle him. To everyday viewers, the moment came across as pure self-belief, the sport's pound-for-pound leader publicly backing someone close to him. However, sources behind the scenes are painting a very different picture. According to those familiar with the situation, what really happened has quietly rattled Shakur Stevenson's entire team and sent unexpected concern through his camp.
Like this was not going to be a very good fight, that it was a fight that had a real chance to be a snoozer because of the way both of these guys fight. But during my live stream, I got some information. I won't say information inside because it was on a live stream about Teofimo Lopez that I found very interesting and may make the fight a lot more exciting, because there's two things about Teofimo Lopez that Shakur Stevenson really has to work.
Sources say everything shifted once Crawford privately watched leaked sparring clips of Teofimo. Those present claim he went silent, fixed on the screen, and admitted he had never seen Teofimo look this dangerous. While the public views Crawford as a confident supporter, insiders believe he's genuinely worried that Shakur may be heading into a fight against an upgraded version of Lopez no one expected. This concern didn't come from media moments, but from a quiet gym setting where Crawford reportedly replayed the footage multiple times, closely studying the movements in complete silence.
Tim Bradley said that he feels like Shakur Stevenson can hurt you. Not necessarily with power, but by frustrating you, controlling the distance, nullifying your offense, just making you look bad. He said that he feels like Shakur has superior boxing IQ compared to you.
That's cool. That's his opinion. That's cool. Everybody has an opinion like an asshole. You know? So,
I swear I wish I could be like you. I swear I wish I could be like you too. Just be like, they say whatever, it's fine. I'd be like, say what?
He also said don't run from Shakur.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I put on boxing shoes, not track shoes. So yeah, I'm excited.
One source claims Crawford couldn't stop shaking his head, quietly commenting on how unbelievably fast Teofimo's hands looked. This wasn't just about speed alone. Crawford reportedly noticed that Teofimo was moving with the quickness of a smaller fighter while delivering power more typical of a heavier division. The real alarm went beyond physical traits, as it became clear Teofimo wasn't simply training to outbox someone, but to dominate them. After watching the footage, Crawford allegedly pulled Shakur aside and issued a blunt warning, saying that Teofimo was operating on another level and that failing to match that intensity could turn the fight dangerous very quickly. Seen through this lens, the now infamous press conference takes on a different meaning, as analysts believe Crawford stepped in not just to talk back, but to shield Shakur when tensions flared and mind games started flying.
Is a bit of an enigma when you see him in a boxing ring. He is somebody that is very, very athletic, somebody that is very, very highly skilled, but his mindset is not always as consistent as you would want it to be, and his performances are not as consistent as you would want them to be. When he fought against Vasily Lomachenko, he looked like a very tremendous fighter against Vasily Lomachenko. I think he won that fight, looked very good, all of the above. But then you see him come back against George Kambosos, and it's like a totally different fighter. He winds up getting beat by George Kambosos, goes up to 140 pounds. Then he gets a shot with Josh Taylor, who was a former undisputed champion, but really still considered the man at that division. And then he goes about completely dominating and outclassing Josh Taylor, who many people believe was a pound-for-pound top fighter. But then he comes back and he fights guys like Jermaine Ortiz, and he fights guys like Sandor Martin, and they just look like fights that he underwhelmed, and he fought to the level of his competition. So with Teofimo Lopez, that's what I always worry about. And don't worry about his talent or his skill or his ability. I always wonder whether or not what level he's going to fight at, and whether it's just going to be right about the level of the guy he's fighting. And as a result, the fights.
Crawford understands better than anyone that once Shakur lets emotions take over, his advantage disappears. By stepping in, he wasn't just acting as a loyal ally. He was urgently trying to keep Shakur locked in mentally. Crawford knows that if Teofimo succeeds in turning the fight into a reckless exchange, the explosive speed and power he witnessed on tape could end things quickly. His involvement had nothing to do with slighting Teofimo, and everything to do with stopping Shakur from walking straight into the mental snare that had already been carefully set.
About the advantages that Teofimo Lopez has in this particular fight is that Teofimo Lopez, really is somebody that is unique in the fact that he likes to fight southpaws, likes to fight guys that have an opposite angle of what you usually get. And look back to the fight that he had with one of the best fight that he had in his career was with a southpaw in Vasily Lomachenko. And so you have to know that he could fight at the level of Vasily Lomachenko at the southpaw, in the southpaw stance. You have to say, okay, well, man, what is that going to mean for the Shakur Stevenson fight? Not that Shakur Stevenson and Vasily Lomachenko fight a lot at all, alike at all. They do not fight alike at all, but still the angles and the common problems that are caused by southpaws exist when you fight Vasily Lomachenko and Shakur Stevenson. Also, Teofimo Lopez showed that on his big fight night that he was able to show up on his big fight night, right? So you look at the difference between the Teofimo Lopez fight with George Kambosos. He might have felt like, hey, this is a walk in the park. His ego is flying and his mind isn't really there, really not prepared for the fight, right? And same thing with the other guys that I mentioned, like Jermaine Ortiz and Sandor Martin. But when he got his opportunities, in the big opportunities, he buckled down and he focused against Josh Taylor, who, by the way, also fights out of the southpaw stance, and Vasily Lomachenko. So we'll see whether or not he's able to do that again with Shakur. The problem that Shakur has had some big fights when he always showed up in his fights, man. Always showed up in his fights. I think Shakur is somebody that really does react in large parts to what other fighters are doing, but still, he's somebody that will absolutely stay.
So he got a lot to deal with come January 31st.
So without giving up too much, when you look at him as a professional and you see what he's done, the fights he's fought, his style, what is it about him that you are going to exploit?
I think he the truth. He do a lot of things well. I think he flashy. I think it's just some basic stuff. Where I feel like he make mistakes. And I think I'm gonna capitalize off those mistakes.
What is it about you that has you, looking at a fighter that is the truth and then saying, I want to fight him? It seems like it should be normal if you're a fighter, right? But that stuff is dying off in the game right now. And I feel like you one of the last of the dying breed that actually want real challenges.
Yeah, I'm competitive, bro. So it's like, I want to be the best. So when I see certain guys out there, and I seen Teo his last fight, I was there front row, and I'm like, damn, this dude is like, he like a baby Roy, like he like doing things with his hands down, flashy. So I thought it was cool, so it kind of made me want to get in a ring with him and see if he could do them things against my style.
The details Crawford reportedly saw on those recordings would scare anyone expecting a slow points victory. It wasn't just raw quickness. Insiders claim Crawford likened Teofimo's current form to a young Roy Jones Jr., a comparison that signals rare athletic gifts, lightning reactions, and explosive unpredictability that can't be taught. Footage allegedly shows Teofimo gliding side to side with a smoothness not seen since the Lomachenko bout. Now paired with extra strength, slipping shots by inches and firing rapid three-punch counters before opponents can recover. With his elite fight IQ, Crawford immediately recognized the threat. This version of Teofimo isn't hunting a single knockout. He's built to apply non-stop pressure for all 12 rounds. pushing forward relentlessly, a kind of sustained intensity Shakur may have never truly encountered as a professional.
So depending on how Shakur walks around, what he does on his regular basis as far as conditioning, weightlifting, what he does dieting wise, it all can play a factor. So for me, because of how he is and who he's surrounded by, I'm going to say that I feel as though Shakur is actually going to be a lot stronger than what he was in other weight classes.
Do you think that will be able to translate into stronger punches? Because I know people always criticize.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Shakur can punch. I just think that he's not really much of a combination type of guy. One punch, two punch combination, three punch combination, get out of there. You know, where Teo's gonna do he can punch from weird angles. Teo can punch from like very, very strange angles, and he also too has the IQ, but it's like he's more of an explosive side. So that's what I'm saying. It can hurt Shakur being the 5 pounds heavier, but it can also benefit him very, very well as well. I think Teo is offensively explosive, and he definitely has the athleticism edge over Shakur. Now, I think Shakur's defense is high caliber, and his IQ is also high caliber. So it's a really good matchup, because it's kind of like Teo brings, he can either, depending how he fights Shakur, he can either make it a tough night or he can make it an easy night for Shakur. Same thing goes for Shakur. Shakur can try to stay on the ropes the whole time, or he can utilize his legs and box circles around Teo. We don't know, but definitely with the athleticism edge, I'm going to give it slightly over to Teo. But not saying that Teo doesn't have a good IQ. I just think Shakur's IQ is very like, I know people know that he's a smart fighter, right? But I think that when we talk about fighters throughout these eras, he's not really mentioned in these things because of the opposition who he has faced. But he does have some great IQ, and from a coach's standpoint, I get to see how he does certain things, why he does certain things. And I'm like, that's smart, and he capitalizes. He got good range control. So let's go.
The result? Insiders say the mood inside Shakur's camp has flipped from relaxed confidence to all-out war preparation. Crawford isn't present just to motivate. He's reportedly taken full control of the operation, selecting sparring partners designed to mirror Teofimo's unpredictable, explosive approach. These are fighters who press forward, hit with intent, and aren't fazed by Shakur's power, forcing him to operate under constant pressure and fight moving backward. With that level of intensity, every detail now matters, from daily conditioning and strength work to weight management and nutrition, as each piece could influence how this fight ultimately unfolds.